fans, do you want to win your share of $100,000? Simply enter the houseofboxing.com Fight Night Prediction Challenge. Compete with boxing fans around the world. Simply head over to houseofboxing.com and sign up now.
This is Charlie Parsons from Boxing Social in association with William Hill and Empire Fight Store.
Can't do a fucking job. That's why you don't get complimented.
Fuming.
No, I did. I said to you, you're looking in good shape, mate. That's the first thing I said to you.
That is true. That is true.
But then you started flashing your Palm Angels top in my face saying, have you seen what I've got on? That's what you were saying.
What? No, this is not true. It's scandalous.
Mate, you're taking too much notice of what other people are saying about what you're wearing.
How are you, my friend?
I'm very good, thank you.
Always good to see you. Hopey Price out again. I think last time we spoke was in Sheffield again. You had an eventful week last time. You ended up with Hopey having that performance. You also went to Karen's Diner with Tony in the week, which we won't remind you of. Excited, had another opportunity to go through things in camp and another step up this weekend. Looking forward to it?
Yeah, it's all part of his development. You have to remember, I asked for this opponent. I asked for a southpaw because the British champion's a southpaw. So, in terms of development, I want him to fight a southpaw before it goes in against the champion. Conor Cogill, unbeaten, 14-0, going to come to win. It's his massive opportunity. You've heard him speak up there. You know, he's prepared for X amount of weeks, change his life for it. Hopey's been living this life since he was a little kid, so there's nothing changing that side of things. The only difference for Hopey, and this is where the test comes in, is that he's a southpaw.
Every time I speak to you about Hopey, the first sort of thing that usually come out of your mouth is how mature he is and how much he knuckles himself down, and also how much he sort of had to go through and overcome adversity, yet not really let any of that.
We talk about it in the gym. You won't believe the stuff that he's had to come through and the stuff that he's constantly having to go through each fight. But his mentality is unbelievable. That's why, in terms of all the fighters I've worked with, I look at his mentality and his maturity and how he handles things right up there. Honestly, he deserves hopefully everything that he's going to get out of the sport, but he deserves nothing but good out of the sport because, you know, what people don't see him going through, and to still be able to come to the gym and to, you know, perform and keep his mind on the job, is an unbelievable personality.
On the topic of the gym, Ebanie Bridges has been with you for a minute now. How are things going?
Yeah, good. Ebanie's Ebanie. She's full of bants, big character in the gym, but she's a grafter. She's a real hard worker, and I think that's why everybody respects her in the gym, because she works so hard. And you know, we all know she's tough. She's tough as nails, but she's enjoying. I think she's enjoying the work in there. You know. Adding a little things, you know, a little bit more thought process to a game, and she's looking forward to fighting. That's it. She's been out for a long time. She had, you know, the hand injury, major hand injury, and then obviously dates put back. So she went back home, went back to see her family in Australia. I think that did her the world of good. So yeah, she's fresh and ready to go.
We know she can box, we know she can brawl. Next fight, I believe she's going to have a voluntary and then sort of look at unifications. Is that how you want it?
I don't know if it's a voluntary or if it's a mandatory, I don't know. Just I don't manage her, so all I'm doing is I'm training her, and they'll tell me who, where, when.
You believe she's the best in the division, and that will show when she steps and unifies with these guys?
I think she's got the potential to be the best in the division. I think she's got the potential to unify without a shadow of a doubt. I certainly think she's the most exciting in the division. Only time will tell, you know. And the more this is what I wanted. The more time I've got with her, the more I get to work with her, the more we get to gel. She's a great character, and she's learning, and she's like a sponge.
Got to pick your brains on this weekend's main event, Leigh and Josh Warrington. You say can't wait, we echo that as boxing fans. Really nice to have a domestic dust-up. Middle ground, I believe 12.5k sellout. It's going to be an exciting one in there. Josh Warrington's stock's certainly gone up from defeat last time out after Lopez's performance against Mick Conlon. People calling it the last hurrah, but we know Leigh is saying that this is his last fight at 126. It's a big cut for him to make the weight. They've had a bit of back and forth, polite, but not as polite as it was a couple of months ago. What do you make of it?
I just think listen, I've been in boxing like 33 years this year. seen a lot of big fights. I've been fortunate enough to be up close with a lot of big fights, and you enjoy them when you're younger, but as you get older, you kind of appreciate them a little bit more. Because, well, you weren't about, you're about 12, aren't you?
Humbled.
Right. Well, as you get older, you start to appreciate these big fights a little bit more. Because as the sport is as well, they're not happening as often as what they once would. So, when they come along, it's just, you're like a kid and you're just invested in, yes, I'm working the show and, doing bits and what have you, but I'm just a fan, I'm just a massive boxing fan. And Leigh Wood against Josh Warrington, it's just, for British boxing, two fighters right at the top there, they're an absolute credit for the sport. Do you know what people forget? Is these two guys didn't come through the promoted route, big contract to start off with, guided straight through. Josh Warrington on Steve Wood's shows, building his way through boxing journeyman, boxing on ticket deals, or just coming through on a small old show. Leigh Wood the same, got an opportunity, got beat, had to rebuild again, coming through on small shows. These guys have come through the hard way. Now you see him glitz and glamour, it's, world titles, world champions, 2-time, 3-time potentially. You forget about how it started. And I think they're a great advert for the sport and for all the fighters that are watching and all the fighters that turn up on the undercard and things like that. They're a great advert that sometimes are they the most skillful, most amazing fighters that this country's ever produced? Probably not, but they're right up there because of the achievements, and that's through their hard work and their mentality. And when you see them going against each other and you see the matchup, Leigh Wood at range, at distance, Josh Warrington up close, bumping that head, which he does. You can't say he doesn't.
That's what I mean. They know that. When I asked them 10 weeks ago, they said that they expect that. So there's no real excuse.
Fighting. That's what it is. This is going to be a fight. But I feel as though whoever controls that distance, that doesn't necessarily mean that they'll win the fight, because somebody can unravel on one shot. You never know. But they have more chance of winning the fight. I feel as though that is the key, especially with Leigh. If he controls that distance, now he's got more understanding of the game, in-fight management, and being able to adapt and assess situations. I think that is his forte. If he's got that distance, that reach, and he knows how to set things up now, and then he can deliver his power punching. But if Josh gets on the inside and all he's got to do is clip him a couple of times on the nose, makes him feel uncomfortable, takes him out of a rhythm, and lifts his head up, that gives Josh more of a chance. That gives him his game. It's such a good fight, and Josh ain't just going to charge straight in. He's a bit underestimated on his boxing brain a little bit. He knows how to close the distance quickly and then get back out a little bit when he has to. I just think it's a really good fight, and I said 50-50. It's a 50-50 fight. It's a proper fight. That's why I'm so excited, and that's why we should appreciate it. But I will say it's a 51-49% fight.
Yeah. You can safely edge someone and still maintain its competitiveness.
And 100%. And I lean towards Leigh Wood.
Let me pick up. You said about sort of as aging in boxing, and you laughed at me for my response, which actually I completely understand. It's fair to say that boxing's in quite a good place this year. I was looking on my timeline last night. Throw it back to the start of the year, we had that cracker Beterbiev Yard as the year went on. We had Ryan Garcia versus Tank Cordina Rakimov. Obviously just had Canelo Charlo, Crawford Spence. We see that Fury Usyk's been signed, maybe 2024, but this one here, in terms of fights delivering, it feels like as a sport, usually when we're so frustrated, and there are frustrations, but feels like things are getting that little bit better.
They are, but the problem is people are so negative. Like, I seen the announcement of Fury Usyk, and then on my timeline I was like, oh, believe it when it happens, believe it. Just enjoy the fact that now it looks like it's going to happen. Do you know what I mean? It's like this fight. This is a huge fight. You've got because you have shit times in sport. It's like that. Always has been. But when good things are happening, fucking bellow it out and speak about it rather than looking to pick at it. And say, but undercard's going to be shit or this. Or, fucking hell, just
be happy it's made, done.
I'll tell you, and the promoters get on my tits, because you've got Eddie having a go at Frank, you've got Frank having a go at Eddie, you've got throwing Ben Shalom in there. All they're doing is slagging everybody off, and it's negative on the sport. So then everyone just thinks the sport's shit, and everyone just talks about how bad the sport is. And they all do shit, they all do good. Right? Just focus on your own shit, get cracking, stop being fucking putting your egos in front of the sport. And if there's cross promotional matches to be made, get them fucking made. You're a promoter. Boxing fans want to see the best fights. Fighters want to have the best fights because they pay the best money. Just get the shit done.
Finally from me, picking up on that. Yeah, I know, yeah. Not always how the world works, certainly not how this industry works. Just finally from me, on the topic of the heavyweights, I suppose Fury Usyk fight signed, your reaction. And we have this sort of carrot dangled in front of us constantly. Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder. Not yet happened. December we were expected. Now we're being told March maybe. Can you get on board with it?
It's one of those where it's dragging on a little bit too. I was bored of the...
It was discussed in 2015, that fight.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's dragging on. It's dragging on now. So I'm kind of like... please God it happens, and I'll be the most, because that is a fight I would love to see. That is it's just a straight up shootout for me, and I want to see that fight. But will it, won't it? It's going on too long now, so it's like Groundhog Day, and I'm not asked. I'm not asked now until it happens. So.
I respect it, Dave. Always a pleasure to pick your brain. I look forward to catching up post-fight Saturday. Fingers crossed, Hopey victorious, and then moving forward to that British title.
Yeah, 100%.
Dave Coldwell, top man, thank you for speaking to us at Boxing Social.